For 3.5 days, a woman stood behind office workers with a stopwatch, not surveying them, not interviewing them, watching, clicking a timer every single time a person's attention moved. Email to phone, phone to coworker, coworker back to the thing they were supposed to be doing. Click, click, click. Her name is Gloria Mark, and she has timed human attention by hand in real offices for 20 years. And the number she's most famous for, the one you've almost certainly heard, is wrong. 3 claims are going on trial today. 3 things everybody knows about your attention, your phone, and your poor fried brain. You've heard all 3. You've probably repeated one. And I'll tell you the verdicts now, because I don't do cliffhangers. 1 is a ghost. 1 is a science word wearing a costume. And the 3rd is real, just not even slightly in the way you think. We start with the goldfish. You know this one? The human attention span has collapsed to 8 seconds, 1 second shorter than a goldfish. It's been on TED stages, in news segments, in roughly 900 million marketing slide decks explaining why your ad has to grab people in the first 3 frames. It's a great statistic, it's vivid, it's a little insulting, and it confirms something we already suspect about ourselves. There is only one problem with it. Nobody can find where it came from. Follow me on this because it's a genuinely good detective story. The stat gets its big break in 2015 in a report from Microsoft's Canadian office about attention in the digital age. And that report does not claim the 8-second figure as its own research. It cites it. It points to a source, a website called Statistic Brain. So, a journalist at the BBC's fact-checking show goes to Statistic Brain and says, "Where did you get this?" And Statistic Brain has, listed right there, its own sources, very official. The National Library of Medicine, the Associated Press. So the BBC calls them, and the National Library of Medicine has no record of it. The Associated Press has no record of it. Statistic Brain itself never answers. The trail just stops. There is no study. There's a number, sitting in a report, citing a website, citing sources that shrug. It's a citation daisy chain that dead ends in fog. And here's the part I love. The 8-second stat is almost always quoted to prove that digital life is destroying our attention. But the Microsoft report it comes from argues the opposite. Its own foreword, I'm not making this up, opens with the line, "Think digital is killing attention spans? Think again." The report that supposedly proves we've become goldfish is, in its own words, telling you to calm down. Oh, and the goldfish is fine. Goldfish can be trained to do tricks, remember them for months, tell colors apart, learn to navigate little mazes. The 9-second goldfish is as fake as the 8-second human. We slandered a perfectly attentive fish to feel bad about ourselves. If you want to know where the line actually seems to start, the earliest trace is a 2002 BBC article that tossed off a 9 seconds same as a goldfish comparison, while quoting an MIT researcher named Ted Selker. Years later, a journalist tracked Selker down and asked him where the goldfish thing came from. His answer, in full, "I have no idea where he got that from." So, charge 1. The most repeated fact about your attention span is a number with no birth certificate, spread by people who, and I mean this gently, did not pay very close attention to where they got it. Verdict, not a fact. A ghost with good graphic design. 1 down. Charge 2 is more sophisticated because it has a real word in it, dopamine. The idea goes like this. Every notification, every scroll, every little red badge gives you a hit of dopamine, your brain's pleasure chemical. Do it enough and you burn the system out. You need bigger and bigger hits, and the fix is a dopamine detox. A cleanse. Starve the pleasure chemical. Reset the brain. It sounds neurological. It sounds almost responsible. It falls apart on the very first fact, which is this. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. It never was. Here's how we actually know what dopamine does. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz was recording from individual dopamine neurons in monkeys, giving them little squirts of juice. And he found something that did not fit the pleasure story at all. When the juice arrived as a surprise, most of these neurons fired, a burst. Great, you think. Reward chemical, reward arrives, it fires. Makes sense. But then the monkeys learned that a light meant juice was coming. And once they knew, once the reward was fully expected, most of them went quiet when the juice actually arrived. No burst. The reward showed up, the tongue tasted it, and the so-called pleasure chemical said nothing. And then the cruel part. When a monkey expected the juice and it didn't come, they dipped below baseline, below resting. At the exact instant the reward was due and absent. That's not a pleasure signal, that's a prediction error. Dopamine isn't measuring how good the thing is. It's measuring the gap between what you expected and what you got. It fires for the surprise and goes silent when the world turns out exactly as good as you already knew it would be. The reward chemical barely reacts to reward. It reacts to being wrong. It gets stranger, and this is the finding that reorganized the whole field. 2 researchers, Berridge and Robinson, took rats and stripped out almost all of their dopamine, up to 99% gone. If dopamine were pleasure, those rats should no longer enjoy anything. Put sugar on their tongues, and they made the exact same happy face a normal rat makes. The liking was completely intact. They still loved it. They just wouldn't go get it. They'd sit beside a full bowl and starve, unless the researchers stepped in and fed them. Not because they didn't like the food, but because they had lost the wanting, the drive to cross the cage, the reach. Liking and wanting are 2 different machines, and dopamine runs the wanting, not the enjoying, the reaching. Once you know that, the whole scrolling experience clicks into a different shape. Because think about how it actually feels at hour 2, thumb moving on its own. Is it fun, genuinely? Or are you reaching for something that stopped being fun a while ago and somehow got more compulsive as it got less enjoyable? That's not a brain hijacked by dopamine hits. That's wanting running out ahead of liking, a real, documented, slightly haunting thing, and the exact opposite of the story, where pleasure is the problem. So, what about the detox? The man who coined dopamine fasting, a psychologist named Cameron Sepa, back in 2019, he'll tell you himself what it really is. He told the New York Times the name is not to be taken literally, because what he actually prescribes isn't fasting from dopamine. You can't. It's keeping your heart beating as we speak. It's not avoiding food, or eye contact, or people, which is what the internet turned it into. It's a decades-old, deeply unviral technique from cognitive behavioral therapy called stimulus control. Schedule breaks from specific compulsive habits. That's the whole thing. A good idea wearing a science costume to a party. Verdict on charge 2. Garbled. The chemistry is backwards, the detox is a rebrand, and the thing underneath is stranger and more useful than the myth. 2 down. Which leaves the one everybody actually cares about. Because here's where you push back. Fine, you say, the goldfish is fake, and dopamine isn't pleasure. But something changed. I can feel it. I can't get through a paragraph. I open my phone to check the time and surface 4 minutes later, with no memory of the last 3 apps. Yeah, I feel it too. So, let's take the strongest, most honest evidence there is, Gloria Mark's stopwatch, and actually read it, not the headline, the data. Her numbers are real. In 2004, timing office workers, the average stretch of attention on a screen before switching was about 3 minutes. By 2012, in one study, 75 seconds. By 2016, in another, 47 seconds on average. 40 seconds at the median. 5-fold in 20 years. Case closed, right? That's how everyone quotes it, including, I'll be honest, the first draft of this very script. But Mark's own team put up their hands and said, don't do that. Don't read these as one smooth line. These are 3 different studies, in 3 different offices, measuring slightly different things, with as few as 13 people in one of them. They are snapshots, not a trend line, and her team says so, in print. And then there's the detail that stopped me cold when I actually read the 2012 paper. That 75-second number, that was the baseline. That was the office with email running normally. Because the actual experiment was, what happens when we cut their email off completely for a week? And when they killed the email, attention went up. People focused longer. From 75 seconds to over 2 minutes. Sit with that. Because it flips the entire story. When you remove the interrupting environment, the attention comes back. Same people, same brains. The focus was never gone. It was being pulled. And the 23 minutes? You've heard this one too. That it takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to refocus after an interruption. Extremely specific, extremely quoted. It appears in none of Gloria Mark's peer-reviewed papers. It traces back to an offhand line in a 2006 interview. The real published number from her 2005 study is that people return to an interrupted task after about 25 minutes. And that's a measure of when they came back to the task, not when their brain snapped back into focus. Two different things. So even the number everyone cites to prove our attention is shot is itself a garbled stat nobody checked. The panic about not paying attention was assembled by people not paying attention. But something is happening? I'm not going to leave you thinking otherwise. So here's exactly what the evidence supports, at exactly the confidence it earns. Your capacity to concentrate is not shrinking. A 2024 meta-analysis, nearly 300 samples, 21,000 people, one concentration test used the same way since 1990, found adult scores have quietly gone up, not down, up. Fair warning. That lift didn't show in kids, and it doesn't directly measure your Tuesday night phone spiral. And that gap right there is the answer to charge 3. Your ability to focus is intact. What collapsed is how long you get to use it before something reaches in and pulls. The verdict isn't your brain broke, it's the room got louder. Verdict, real, but it's not you. It's the room. So, who built the room? The machine, in one sentence. The feed is engineered to be unpredictable. And you now know exactly why that matters. Dopamine, the wanting chemical, fires hardest not for reward, but for surprise. For the thing you didn't see coming. A feed that handed you something great every single time would go quiet, neurologically, within days. Predictable. Boring. So it doesn't. Sometimes it's gold, usually it's nothing, and you never know which pull gives which. That uncertainty isn't a bug, it's the product. Same shape as a slot machine. That's an analogy, not a brain scan. But it's the analogy a former Google design ethicist used to describe exactly this. And there's a small human tragedy folded into it that I can't stop thinking about. The man who invented the infinite scroll, the bottomless feed, the thing that deleted the last natural stopping point from your day, is a designer named Asa Raskin. His father, Jeff Raskin, was one of the people who started the Macintosh project and spent his life writing about designing technology around human dignity, around letting people stop. The son grew up on that. Then built the one pattern most responsible for the fact that none of us can. And he's spent the years since publicly trying to undo it. So, what actually helps? Careful here, because the internet is wall-to-wall attention hacks. And nearly everyone is a single-hedged study flattened into a slogan. Take the famous one, put your phone in another room. It's real-ish. But the headline study didn't fully replicate. The effect that survives is small, and it's mostly about memory, not focus. And, almost poetically, the people who lean on their phones the most are the ones it helps most, and the ones least able to notice it's helping. The bigger lever isn't a trick anyway. It's the boring one from 20 minutes ago. Stimulus control. Distance beats willpower. And the boredom you're so afraid of. The mind wandering, the staring out the window. That's not the enemy. That's the brain's default mode, where things quietly connect, where ideas finish themselves while you're not looking. Gloria Mark's own book argues we need those low, drifting states. They aren't the failure, they're part of the rhythm. So, where that leaves you, your attention span is not broken. It was never 8 seconds, you are not a goldfish, and there is nothing in your head to detox. What's real is quieter and far more fixable. Your focus is fine. It's being pulled by rooms built to pull it, machinery that runs on your hunger for the next surprise. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to change the room. Put a door between you and the pull. Not forever, not as a purge, just far enough that the wanting has to get up and walk. New whys every week.